Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. I kind of wanted to rant about something. So, I was a former firefighter out in Arizona, and right after I graduated from college and I got my EMT, I tested right away. This was back in 2015, and became a career firefighter, and never really had to update like my resume or anything. I kind of just had what I had at the time. Obviously, coming out of college, and then just went and applied and tested well, and then was fortunate to earn a spot. So, I ended up resigning out and then moved back to my ex-wife's hometown in California, and became a full-time dad, raised my kids for the past 4.5 years. And then, family situation happened, ended up separating from my ex-wife, and had to jump back into the workforce. So it's crazy because I was actually taking my resume that I had and I sent it to a family friend, and she's a professor as well, and kind of respectfully torched my resume. So like I literally been spending the past few hours this morning trying to like make it better, and didn't really realize like how terrible it was, first of all, and secondly like how like in depth I have to be, because I'm currently a high school teacher, but I'm looking to get into the community college. The community college out here at teaching psychology. I got my master's in psychology, and my rant is just like, man, I just couldn't believe like how long it's taken me to finish this resume and how bad it was. But yeah, that's just kind of a quick little spiel. But anyways, there's some significant stuff that's been happening in the crypto space, and we're gonna start with this one here from Tom Emmer. Shout out Tom Emmer, and all of the representatives we have that we think that are and believe that are on the right side of history and for the people. This is huge. It says breaking. My nonpartisan bill, the Blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act, just passed out of the Financial Committee. It says this is huge win for the United States, as we are one step closer to putting Americans in the driver's seat and crafting the future peer-to-peer digital economy. So I'm not going to play the clip. I just want to read a couple of these things here. He says, this agreed upon guidance clarifies that non-custodial blockchain developers and service providers, miners, validators, wallet providers, that never custody consumer funds do not have to register as money transmitters. After all, money transmission license laws are designed to protect consumers from the risk of loss of assets, a risk that occurs when transmitters and other intermediary, that word is always so hard, intermediaries take control of consumer funds. Guidance, however, is not a concrete as statute. A statute gives certainty. Guidance can change at the political whim of a new administration. The BRCA provides the digital asset ecosystem regulatory certainty to keep innovating in the United States so the future digital economy reflects American values. This is huge. This is, I mean, obviously it passed here. We got to go to the Senate and see what happens. Who knows? We could get something, by the end of the year. There's people speculating we could. There's other people speculating we may have to wait to 2024, 2025. Who knows? But this is huge, though. Got to take our little wins when we can't. Well, excuse me, not little wins. We got to take our wins when we can, Right here, this from Metal Lawman says, I must say, having the word bipartisan associated with anything crypto sounds pretty good to me. Plenty more work to do, but big congratulations. He says, talking about Blockchain Association, Digital Chamber of Commerce, and our Digital Chamber, and everyone else working behind the scenes. Now, who's going to explain what's in the bill? Question mark. Even Paul Barron says something along the lines of, this bill passed by the House Financial Service Committee would define when a cryptocurrency is a security or a commodity, and expand the CFTC oversight crypto, while clarifying the SEC's jurisdiction, as many crypto advocates complain of the agency's perceived overreach. Man, that's huge, man. So yeah, shout out, man, the community and the representatives that we have that are fighting the good fight. We got to keep fighting, just like Metal Lawman says. It continues, and JD says it ain't over. Blockchain back, I wanted to put this up. So I highly recommend you watch this video. It says, broke them all. XRP price chart breaks trend versus Bitcoin and altcoin market for the first time in 5 years. So I watched it this morning, and it's pretty exciting. You got people saying, let's effing go XRP and so on. Obviously, we're sitting in the 71 cent range, but hey, that's huge. We're breaking trends and doing things different than that normal boring sideways movement, if you will, of XRP if you've been in it for years. Continuing on here, DAI's responded to Jack Dorsey here. Says because he's responding to, I think it was it Brian Armstrong? Yeah, Brian Armstrong, and he says, Why do you continue to ignore Bitcoin and Lightning? What crypto is a better money transmission protocol, and why? And then DAI, let me go back here. Yeah, DAI says, why do you continue to ignore XRP, Jack? So I'm gonna see if I'm gonna check on this later and see if Jack responds or not. But yeah, I think it's interesting. That a lot of people are we as we see in our community, we see a lot of those individuals, if you will, that feel indifferent or have some sort of reservation or whatever the case. I'm not saying Jack does. They tend to ignore the truth, right? And here's something crazy. It's from Watcher Guru. It says Sam Bankman-Fried donated $93 million in stolen customer funds to U.S. politicians. Today, the U.S. government dropped a political campaign finance criminal charge against SBF. Excuse me. And then JD hits it on the head here. He goes, and people wonder why the American public lacks trust in government. I mean, what do you think, right? Especially now that we have these platforms and you got, you pretty much, you can say a good majority of the population, not just going to the mainstream media for their news, if you will. They're coming to places like this and following people like JD and other big YouTubers and Twitter people that's on the X, not Twitter. It's weird, that whole shift. But yeah, they're trusting, instead of just being like this whole master narrative that the mainstream media pushes out, we're actually going to like people's history type stuff, and you're seeing it from everyday people's perspectives, and it tends to entail actual way more facts than the mainstream media leads on. So people are starting to open their eyes, and I was actually talking to my friends about this. It's like, I can't believe how much I've learned, or I would just say how much my eyes have opened being involved in crypto, making videos, being a part of, all these different social media platforms and following these people that I respect and kind of in a sense look to for, in a sense to help guide my thought process and my investing and, just my understanding of what's going on in, government and all types of stuff, right? It's crazy how much I've learned in comparison to my past. It's nuts, man. So having these platforms is huge, and people are developing, I guess you could say, less trust in the government day by day. It's crazy, especially when you got people like Chairman Gensler and the SEC, Elizabeth Warren and Brad Sherman and all that. Watcher Guru says, just an SEC chair, Gary Gensler says, crypto is highly speculative asset class filled with fraud. The cool part is on this channel, we all know we've been covering all the shady stuff, man. This guy literally contradicts himself left and right. He clearly is in the pocket of the incumbents, Wall Street, and he has his own agenda of lining his own pockets. We know about him talking about transparency and compliance, but you don't even disclose and aren't compliant with your over $120 million portfolio, if you will, or whatever the heck. It's just sick, right? And then Riz XRB had put this up, and this is a 45-second clip of Chairman Gensler here. But Riz says, the federal judge presiding over Ripple Labs' case against the Securities and Exchange Commission has ruled that XRP token is not necessarily a security on its face, except when it's sold to raise funds from institutions. So let's take a quick listen into this, and we'll cover something.
Has gotten a lot of attention lately, crypto. Specifically, a ruling that was made in the Ripple case that XRP is only a security when sold to institutional investors, not so with retail investors. I know you've previously said you were disappointed by that ruling. The SEC has also said that it intends to seek further review. So does that mean you are going to appeal it? Can you elaborate on your thoughts around that ruling?
Kaylee, great question, but the commission, I'm one of 5 commissioners. Mm-hmm. The commission has not acted on that, and if the staff makes a recommendation, we'll have a discussion of it, and we'll take it up then, but I don't really have anything more on you.
So this, and I'm just speculating in my own opinion here, just kind of hearing his response there. Obviously, he's not going to sit here and say something that can be used against him in a sense, or play show their hand. There has been, people speculating and conversating, maybe, he's posturing and they're saying they're going to appeal and do all these different things just to sort of give themselves some sort of leverage in regards of settlement. Then you have other people talking about, there not being a settlement and there's going to be some interlocutory appeal or something. And then you got JD saying he's not sure. I mean, there's just so many different things. For me, I just think the whole notion of they're trying to just create more FUD and fear, right? Whatever they try to, they decide to do with it, I'm just under the impression of like, okay, here they go. Just like we said, BC Banker's been saying, we've been saying on this channel, our community's been saying they're singing the same old song. It's not just Chairman Gensler and, those corrupt people in the SEC or other representatives in our government. There's even Maxis and other haters, if you will, in the community that are singing the same old song, trying to change the narrative or spin the narrative and create more FUD and negativity around XRP and Ripple, right? For what? Are they continuing to accumulate? Do they already have some sort of plan of, hey, we're just going to create as much fuss as we can and then bring, some sort of settlement or some sort of agreement or understanding to the settlement table? Or are they actually going to appeal this thing and go down that rabbit hole? I don't know. I just think it's strange that he's going out here acting as if like he has some sort of like real leverage or power. Because from my understanding from the legal minds that's been speaking, it just doesn't seem like it. So yeah, that posturing thing maybe has some validity to it. And I think this is comical, right? So we covered this yesterday. This is Brad Sherman. I think it's Brad Sherman, yeah, and Chairman Gensler here. And Digital Asset Investor says, did you go over his Ripple loss? And with the laughing emojis. And I'm curious to know like what their conversations are like. And then I did notice that this comb is in this gentleman's hand. It was like, okay, well you got the whole leave the sides type thing. Like you go into the barber and you say, just leave the sides, take the top off. And I'm only saying this because I'm bald. I have the same look as this gentleman, but I just take it all off. I just go all the way. But I think it's hilarious because I mean, these two cats don't really have hair. You might as well just let it go, right? But anyways, I think it's just funny. Moving on here. This is huge, right? You got a lot of scrutiny and hate and negative campaigns and FUD thrown against Ripple and XRP. But look, we talked over that year-over-year growth that they talked about since the drop of the lawsuit, right? The Republic of Palau is partnering with Ripple to pilot a USD-backed stablecoin on the XRP ledger. And if we come over here, Jungle E hits it on the head, says Palau teams up with Ripple to create a game-changing USD-backed stablecoin. Their mission, bring financial empowerment to the unbanked and reduce payment costs. This is just the beginning. Ripple is in talks with 20-plus governments globally. Yeah, it ain't over. It may not be over when it comes to the SEC versus Ripple. It definitely ain't over with Ripple continuing to grow and expand. Remember what Barry Garlandhouse said. We're going to get into other verticals, and it's more than just cross-border remittances and settlement. It's we're going to continue to grow and scale, whether it's organically or if it's through acquisition. It's showtime, man. I'm really excited about it. Shout out JD, because I'm telling you, man, without this gentleman and, the legal minds within our community and even our community, man, like we would not be where we're at today. Truly. So there's a quote here says, because he's responding to this Rosalind Layton piece where it says, after 3 years, a cryptocurrency case of the century ended victoriously for the people the U.S. government is supposed to protect, consumers and small investors. JD quotes, it says, ultimately, the Tor's decision was a trump from thousands of retail XRP holders led by Rhode Island attorney John Deaton. They filed a motion to intervene early in the case, enraged that the lawsuit had crashed the value of their holdings and locked their XRP on exchanges that suspended trading for fear of SEC retaliation. The XRP army became a hurricane of investor revolt that the SEC did not see coming. JD says she is 100 in that the SEC didn't see us coming. But let me read this, but they know who we are now. Absolutely, without a doubt. I 100% agree with that, man. That is so powerful. Like literally, I get like chills from it. And even Bearable Bull says, to everyone in the XRP army who didn't quit, I'm genuinely proud of every single one of you. And you should all be proud of yourselves for not giving up. 100%, man. Shout out Bearable Bull, man. And shout out to the XRP community because we've made a significant impact in the crypto space. Significant. I feel like without us, we wouldn't be where we are today in the crypto space in general. Remember, it's bigger than Ripple and XRP. This is about the entire industry. So yeah, shout out to the community. We're currently sitting at a $1.2 trillion market cap. Bitcoin sitting at 29,156. Ethereum sitting at 1860. XRP sitting at 71 cents. Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index sitting at a 51. Unfortunately, I got to go continue to work on this resume so I can get this application posted, man, and hopefully get me a spot one day. But anyways, make sure you come to the Crypto is Key Conversation YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at CryptoIsKey1. I really appreciate your support out there. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.